Make sure we got a couple things picked up here. Make sure we are going everywhere. Looks like we are. Right. Hello, good evening. We are live in a bunch of places tonight. We're live on the Free the Kink YouTube. We're live on Free the Kink on the web, on the page. We're live in the group. We are live in Brady Dynamics, Punishments, House of 1,000 Slaves. We're live in the Core. What's up, Core? Personals, and right here on the Moan app. Speaking of the Moan app, if you are listening in from any of the Free the Kink groups, from the FTK network, anywhere, if you guys have not joined the Moan app yet, the Moan app is a pretty cool place. It's an audio-only application for the most part right now. They just introduced communities, and Free the Kink has its own community there. It's a place where we can talk about a little bit more than we normally are able to, say, on our Facebook pages. But we're not able to share pictures and things over there yet. Like I said, it's mostly audio, but it's a lot of fun. So if you're not there, go and check it out. You can download it in both the Apple and the Android. I don't know what you call them, play spaces or whatever. Play spaces. You know where my name. You know where my mind's at tonight. Well, what's going on, everybody? Thank you very much. My name is Big Mac. You know, I am the founder and creator of Free the Kink. Tonight, we are going to be talking and discussing navigating tough conversations to ensure fulfillment for all. Now, before we actually get into the meat of this this evening, I want to talk about a couple of things. One is, if you're in any of the Free the Kink groups, you want to make a comment, you want to add something, you want to ask a question, you got maybe if you have a thought or something, you just put it in the comments. I'll be able to see it. We're restreaming into the Free the Kink group, so we're all 8 of the groups that we're restreaming in right now. You can comment and I'll see it on the restream side. If you're not registered with Restream, it'll just show me Facebook user. Okay, and so I will just read the question and hopefully you know I'm talking to you. If you're on the Moan app, what is up? I see Miss Shy and Miss B is in here. What is up, y'all? So the Kinky Smurf, my sexy slave, is on the Moan app. Listen to me. That is fantastic. So we're talking about navigating tough conversations to ensure fulfillment for all this evening. And let's do a couple pieces of housekeeping before we get into it, okay? The first thing I want to say is, look, the reason I chose this topic, we're going to, in Free the Kink, be doing, I'm going to try to do 2 of these a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. When I can't do them, I'm going to try to record them and put them up. So the folks on the Moan app, on the weeks that I can't do them, I'm doing recordings. You'll have to jump over to one of the groups to see it or listen to it. But I'll try to do as many live as I can. But the reason I chose this to get started is because, you know, one of the number one questions, probably the number one question that we get on the walls in Free the Kink is, how do I get my partner to blank, blank, blank? And this is a good topic to cover because, man, communication is important. And let's face it, it is not always the easiest thing to do. To communicate and be 100% honest with the people we love the most, right? It seems like sometimes the person that you're closest to is the person it's hardest to say. And then you think that would be an issue, but the reality is, look, that's the person you got to see every day. That's the person you got to talk to every day. You don't want to, you know, have that fear of rejection, that fear of judgment. I mean, if I want to get some super freaky shit done, I can go to one of the brothels in Nevada here and get it done. But if they, you know, judge me or make me feel weird, there's like 1,200 other professionals I can go to. But if I go to the Kinky Smurf, I'm like, yo, I want to try this, and they judge me, well, you know what? I got to wake up next to this motherfucker tomorrow. It might be a little bit of an issue. So it can definitely be hard to talk to the person you love the most. But it's really, really, really important because, look, man, when you want to do something or you have this feeling or desire, you need to share it with your partner, right? I mean, because look, if you don't, what happens? You get resentment issues come up, and look, resentment is the pathway to hell, y'all. If you don't know, you know. If you don't know, you should know. That is the pathway to hell. Holding that stuff inside, man, it just adds stress and just overall sadness to your life. So you want to try to get it out. So that's one of the reasons why I had this conversation. I got 2 more housekeeping before we get into the meat of it. The next one is, look, we all know you can't have everything you want in life. Sacrifice is part of relationships. So, no, you're probably not always going to get everything you want. It's just that's just the way life is. And I see a lot of people on the wall saying, oh, well, if they won't give that to you, you just need to find you a new partner. Really? Is that where we are? There's no sacrifice left? You know what I mean? Come on. So, again, I'll never tell anyone how to live their life, but rarely do you get everything you want. Okay, now, the most important piece of the housekeeping tonight before we get into this is this. A lot of times when someone comes into the Free the Kink Network and asks this question, it's usually in a form of the person, at least 7 out of 10 times, the person just won't do it or something, and they're looking for some kind of manipulation tactic to get them to do it. There is nothing in what I'm going to be talking tonight about manipulation tactics or here's how you can, persuade this individual in your life to change their mind. Okay. That is not what we're talking about. That's not the ethical thing that we're discussing. Tonight, we're discussing how to have the conversation. So if you came here looking for some manipulation tactics, you're just wasting your time this evening. All right. Let's get into it. Let me check and make sure I haven't missed anything before I get started on the chats. Let me check over here in the Mono show. We got Alex. What's up? Nova Ann's come in. Slurpee Cook. I haven't seen Slurpee in a while. How you doing? ER Spark is here. Man, I'll come out to support me. Thank y'all so much. Don't have any comments from FTK yet. Perfect. So let's get into this because we all know that, a strong and healthy relationships, is really important. And the way they're built is they're built on effective communication, right? That's the ability to have these tough conversations that we're talking about. Okay, the discussions, these discussions, although they're going to be super challenging sometimes, they're really crucial to understand each other's desires, the needs, your wants, to ensure that to the best of your ability, you can both are, you and your partner, our partners, can be as fulfilled as possible, be as harmonious as you can together. And that's what we're going to discuss tonight. And that's what we're going to try to explore this evening. What are the best ways to navigate these conversations in order to promote understanding and sometimes, yes, compromise and growth within our relationships, okay? The very first thing that needs to be talked about is timing, man. Choosing the right place and the right time to have these conversations. If you're trying to get your partner to do something with you, maybe whether it's in the bedroom or a new philosophy on how you want to run your dynamic. In the morning when everyone's running around crazy, the hair is not done, we're trying to get our fucking clothes together, the offspring are screaming about where my, lunch is and cookies and shit. That's probably not the best time to be like, hey, baby, would you like to discuss this ultra delicate, super intense conversation real quick in this 8 minutes that we got while we're trying to put our pants on, okay? So timing and location plays a significant role in the success of these conversations, y'all. So it's really essential that I think one is you got to find a quiet place, a private, quiet place in which you can both sit down and have these conversations, okay? It is essential that everyone is comfortable, okay, during these conversations. And let me give you another tip. Look, got to get rid of all the distraction. Okay, if your partner is super stressed out from the day, they just got home, and they would rather do anything else in the world than sit down and have this conversation. It needs to be moved to another time. Don't do it when you're super tired. Don't do it when you're stressed or hungry. Really, that hunger thing is a big deal because if somebody's hungry, that they don't pay as much attention. So make sure that these things are addressed and thought through. A good way maybe to start this conversation before you do it, have a little snack. Maybe you do it after dinner, okay? Make sure everyone is, relaxed and full and not thinking about all the other 200 external stressors that are coming at us all day, every day, right? And that's how it is. That's life, right? Some Facebook users said, so true. It absolutely is true. And I can't stress how much hunger can be a real detriment to a good, solid conversation. Let's talk about practicing active listening right now, because we hear that all the time, but active listening really is a fundamental skill. And this is in anything in life, not just your personal relationships. Really, in taking in what someone is saying, because when you're engaging in these tough conversations, it's essential to be very attentive to what the partner is saying. Okay, especially if you're bringing up something that's new. Don't get so quick to respond to the knee-jerk reactions. Let me tell you something. I have a problem sometimes with that myself. I can open up to y'all here and be honest. Sometimes if that initial knee-jerk reaction isn't exactly what I was looking for, it kind of puts me on edge. And that is something you've got to really control, because you've got to really listen to the whole story. You got to hear what your partner's saying. You have to be able to show empathy. You have to be able to acknowledge that you listen to their damn feelings, man. And people aren't always going to respond exactly like you want them to when you want them to, because that's just not life, man. We're just human. We are taking up, do the day, like we talked in the last part about the daily stressors and the shit that's coming at us all day long. Man, we take in so much information every day, and we have to make so many decisions every day, and we have to think about the outcomes and consequences. Sometimes when a person hears something for the first time, it may be a little, they may be taken aback a little bit. So understand that, have empathy for it, okay? If you have any questions, ask those clarifying questions. Well, when you say this, I feel this way. What do you mean by that? How does that look? How will that manifest itself? Ask the clarifying questions. Go deeper than just, yeah, we can try that. Well, what about this situation? How, for example, like if we're talking about, say, using a wooden cane for the first time, well, maybe you might want to discuss our pain thresholds, our tolerances, make sure our safe words are in place. Whatever the case may be, our new philosophy and a dynamic. Well, what if I can't handle that? How's that going to play out in these situations? Because these situations will really make that protocol very difficult to follow. So you really have to think about these things, ask the clarifying questions so everyone is on the same page. Understand your partner's point of view. If you don't get it, fuck, man, ask the questions. Let's go deeper on it, okay? If you look at your partner and they got that glassed over deer in the headlights look, you may have lost them. So let's stop a little bit. Let's demonstrate that we respect and validate what the hell our partner is feeling. Okay. Again, we're not always going to be super happy with the outcome, but if you have the tough conversation, if you're willing to broach it and you're willing to talk it out with your partner, you'll be shocked about what you might be able to add to your life. I've met a lot of people, man, that went the first 10 years of, say, a marriage and in a vanilla situation. And there's nothing wrong. I love vanilla. Shit, I do more vanilla than I do kink these days. I can promise you that. My hip hurts. But, and then all of a sudden they see something on TV and someone makes a certain sound. The other one's like, oh, you like that? Well, sure, I've always wanted to do that. Well, I always wanted to do that too. Well, fuck, we spent 10 years wanting to do the same goddamn thing. You've got to take the risk, folks. It's worth the risk. The next thing we want to talk about is some I statements. And this one was good for me when I was putting this together. I wanted that because sometimes, I got the Kiki Smurf in here. She knows. Sometimes I'm like, look, you did this or you didn't do that or this. And that immediately puts somebody on edge, right? I mean, if you really think about it, anytime you start putting out like the blame thing, it puts people on edge. So for instance, if the person that your partner, you're giving them information, you're asking them to do something with you or try something new with you or bring in something new to the dynamic, and they don't give you the answer you want, it's okay to express your feelings there, but it needs to come off as in I. Like, look, I feel X about that. Would you be willing to talk a little bit more in detail on the whys? Not, well, you just won't do that for me. You know what I mean? Take responsibility. That approach allows you to take responsibility for your feelings, and it encourages your partner to own and take responsibility for their feelings. It encourages everyone to have more of an open dialogue, and it's going to reduce the defensiveness by like 1,000%. Okay, I statements are really important, and avoid the yous. You know what I mean? The you didn't do's or you never do's, because you're not helping the situation. And I'm gonna use that to springboard right into the next one. Let me just check the chats real quick. Everybody's good. There's no questions. All right. Staying calm and managing your emotions. Now look, y'all, I'm a fucking hot-headed Irishman. Sometimes controlling and managing my emotions and staying calm is not the easiest thing in the world to do for me. And I'm smiling ear to ear right now. I'm telling you why I'm saying this, because it's a challenge. Look, we are all looking to grow, right? And if I didn't have any room for growth, something would definitely be wrong. And in my personal life, for me personally, one of the things that I am most trying to change about myself is how I manage my temper. Okay, because emotions can run high in life, and if you don't manage those emotions, it makes having these conversations just that much tougher, because emotions can really it can make these conversations really tough and it can ruin the opportunity. It's crucial, man, that we remain calm and composed. Some of the things we can do is take deep breaths. Now, I'm no, those people that like the yoga people who can control their breathing and everything, and they have all these techniques. I don't have those, but some breath control exercises are really great. If things are getting heated in this conversation, take a little break. Take a quick break. Everyone go outside, go grab a drink, go just relax a little bit. Okay. Don't be afraid to say, look, let's put this on pause for 5 minutes. Let's put this on pause for the next day. Whatever you need to do. But we always want to avoid any kind of yelling. You want to avoid any kind of name calling. We don't want to use hurtful language because all it's going to do is escalate the damn situation. And this is going to hinder the productive communication you're trying to have. That situation is never going to turn out, the way you wanted it if you're dead in the heat of an argument and you're not coming out of it, right? Another thing that's really quite critical is getting very specific, being very clear, okay? Sometimes when you have a tough conversation, an answer to the stress of that might be to kind of avoid it or dance around not avoid it, but dance around the edges of it, right? Don't be fucking vague. Don't be ambiguous with it, man. Don't do ambiguous statements. Just get right to it, because if you're not, you're just going to lead to confusion. You're going to have misinterpretations, and you're not really having the conversation. You're dancing around it. Be specific about what you're wanting, what you're hoping to accomplish, and what you need from your partner. And then give your partner the goddamn space to respond to that and ensure that they're being specific. Like we talked about earlier, don't be afraid to go back over it. Let's look, I didn't understand that. Or I don't feel like we're on the same page there. Can we go a little deeper on that? Provide some concrete examples to your partner so they really understand you better, right? So they know what you're looking for, especially if you're talking about complex dynamic philosophies. If you wanted to get, the first time I ever had the Kiki Smurf milk me, that was real simple. Look, I want you to milk me. This is how you do that. Boom. But, when you're trying to say, add a very complex DS or an even more complex MS ritual or lifestyle or philosophy to your daily routine, your 24/7 life, you have to be able to get as specific and clear as possible, because everyone's got to understand exactly what we're talking about. When I am putting in, say, a new protocol into my dynamic, I want to be as clear about what that looks like, okay? As clear about the ritual that'll go with it, the why we're doing it. The why is super important, always with the why. And then what the ultimate goal of the outcome looks like, and the consequences on the other end of it as well. Okay. All right. Let me check and make sure I'm not missing nothing. Everybody's saying just hi. Good, good, good. All right. Let's talk about the next one. This one here, this ain't anyone's favorite, but it's part of it. Sometimes you got to seek a little bit of compromise, folks. Sometimes compromise comes up, and look, in any relationship, compromise is essential, right? We all know that. Be willing to find that middle ground. Alternative solutions are out there that can maybe accommodate both partners' desires and needs. As the person who's bringing up something and bringing the tough conversation to the table, we have to take ownership of that, because we can't totally understand how our partner's going to react, right? And so, since we can't understand how they're going to react right off the bat, all the other things that we've talked about so far is about getting to that. But once we've gotten to that and we understand where they are, and they're like, look, I'm willing to try this, but here are either some boundaries that I have, or I don't like this part of that, or I won't do this. That's what we got to understand, and we got to accept it. And that's what I was talking about when we first started, people looking for the manipulation tactics to get what they want. Sometimes, man, you just have to seek a little compromise to make sure you're maintaining a healthy relationship, to make sure that everything involved is a mutual give and take, and not a one-way street. Okay. I own a Gorian slave. Okay. And I still, even with owning a Gorian slave who I can do as I want, when I want, how I want, I still don't want them to be unhappy. I want them to enjoy their life. So I have to seek compromise where possible. Now, granted, I probably compromise a hell of a lot less than most. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I got it pretty fucking good. But even I even the asshole Gorian compromises from time to time. We kind of touched on this a little bit during the I statements, but we do want to think about the blame game. Okay. The blame game comes into these conversations when we don't get our way. Well, again, when we're talking about I statements, the you never do this, right? And all blaming each other does is create more problems in a relationship. It's counterproductive. You're never going to find a solution when you're doing that. If you're blaming each other for shit, you're never going to be working together, because in order to make it, folks, right, we all know we got to work together to improve the situation. We got to work together to make sure our relationship's healthy. We got to work together to make sure our partnerships are strong. Okay. So it's a responsibility of both partners to contribute to that success. And you're not doing your partner any favors when you start throwing the blame down. Put that shit aside. It's not important. Okay. The last thing that I had, as far as things that you can do, some conversations, some topics are super tough. Some you can't always do it on your own. And there's a lot of people out there that are that have made a career out of helping folks. So seek professional help. If you're in a kink relationship, if you're in a power exchange dynamic, there's over on the National Coalition for Sexual Freedom, the NCS, there's a whole list of kink-friendly like therapists and counselors, and they understand kink and poly and power exchange and BDSM and alternative lifestyle. And you can find someone who not only understands what you're going through, but you don't have to be afraid to talk about that really taboo shit that we all like to do. Maybe, well, let me say, I can't speak for y'all, but I like some really taboo shit. And so you get a little nervous when you talk to somebody about it. So, I mean, tough conversations in relationships, man, they're really an opportunity for us all to grow. No matter how hard they are, no matter how scared you are, if it means something to you, have it. Take the risk and have it. Okay. It brings a level of understanding and greater fulfillment. I feel a hell of a lot better about my relationship, even if I don't have something the way I want it, because I had to make a compromise in it, knowing that I had the conversation, than to walk around with just being pissed off in the back of my mind because I want something, I can't have it, but I'm just too afraid or too scared to do something about it. Okay. Don't forget to seek the compromise. Don't forget to remember that ultimately, if we approach these things with grace and empathy, we'll do all right. We'll do all right, man. You'll do okay. You'll come out of it at least feeling good that you had the conversation. And I think more times than not, our partners want to make us happy, right? If not, what the hell are they doing being our partner? Just like you want to make your partner happy. So I think more times than not, you'll probably come out with a pretty decent outcome. Don't be too upset on the rare occasion when you don't get your way. All right. I hope that somebody will get something from this. And hopefully somebody somewhere along the line will hear this and go home and have that conversation. All right. I'm going to open it up for just a few minutes before I close it down, seeing if anybody has any questions. What did I miss, folks? What did I miss? What pieces of tips do you have for anyone that listens to this? I mean, just so y'all know, I mean, there's over 100,000 members in the FTK network now. You never know how many people will see these things. You never know who you might help because you had a something to say and you went ahead and said it. So I'm gonna leave it for another minute or so. If another pops up, I will end it. I sure appreciate all of you. Alex, Miss B, Goddess LB, my sexy slave, the Kinky Smurf, Mr. Slurpy Cuck, Mr. Slave, Dianthus, I probably just fucked your name up. I'm so sorry. Cucky Bear, what's up, CB? Anomaly, if I messed that up, my bad. The Cuck next door, how you doing, my man? ER Spark, thank you all so much for coming here. Miss Shy, appreciate you, of course, as always. So good to see you. Anyone on Facebook, let me check. Listening without judgment, or how to handle it if your partner judges you. Well, that's two things, right? You want to listen without judgment. And how do you handle if your partner judges you? Well, look, it could happen, especially in the beginning. We were talking about that. This is a question on Free the Kink here. we talked about that initial knee-jerk reaction in a little while ago. I don't know if you caught that part of it. That you have to take into some consideration, have a little bit of empathy and grace with that. Okay, because sometimes when you hit somebody off with something that's brand new, and especially if it's kind of out of left field, if it's not something that you guys have ever even really discussed or talked about or looked into, or fuck, even if it's something you saw somewhere or heard somewhere or read somewhere, and you both happen to come across it, it's just when it's so brand new, give a little bit of grace to your partner. Okay, now if as time goes on, it's a continual judgment, and that's a problem you want to. That's another tough conversation you're going to need to have. Okay, but let's try to give a little bit of the grace ahead of time. Okay, Cookie Bear says, "Me and Goddess just had some really deep combos recently, so this relates." Man, congratulations, congratulations. No judgment. Fuck yeah, man. Look, like I said, like I was answering this other individual, it does happen, but it's always nice when we can not have it happen, but we shouldn't let that be the thing that stops us. Yeah, sometimes you need to step back for a moment to process. That's absolutely right, Miss B. And give your partner that room. I mean, shit. Sometimes, look, sometimes I hit the kinky smurf off with some fucked up shit, y'all. You know, she needs just a minute, just enough time to eat a taco to kind of process it out, and then then it's usually okay. It's not a big deal. But sometimes you need to give them some space, and that isn't easy. Yeah, you're right. Because we feel judged, we feel rejected, and that should, like I said at the very top of this, the hardest person in the world to talk to is the person that you're in a relationship with, that you love the most, because that fear of being judged, that fear of rejection, that fear of like I said, you got to wake up to this motherfucker every day. You wake up and you're like, the first thing you look over, you're looking, oh man, you're fucking on me because I wanted you to put your finger in my booty or something. Now you're looking at me different. They're not really looking at you different, by the way, because I can assure you that they got some fucked up shit in there too that they need to talk about. We all got some crazy shit that we like, so don't let it hold you back. All right, I don't see any other questions. Stay curious. Damn right, stay curious. Damn right, stay curious. Stay curious. Stay kinky. Stay fucking excited. Be passionate, man. Look, this life is quick as fuck. It's over before you know it. I just turned 41 years old, and I used to think of myself still as a kid, but I'm like, I'm 41. My hip hurts. I'm trying to do some crazy porn shit with the Kinky Smurf the other day. I threw my fucking hip out. It goes quick. Maybe I should also. Cookie Bear, do it, man. I got a nice fat one to blaze with you, brother. I'll be there. Congratulations to you, Cookie Bear, too, on everything. You look super happy, man. I love the new picture. Do miss the hoodie thing though. That was really cool. All right, let me not keep you guys up here just talking stuff. Thank you guys so much. I will be back on Thursday. Thursday, I'm doing the talking about the romanticizing of BDSM and power exchange. Okay, we're gonna go through a little bit of that. That should be good. I will see you guys then. Thanks everybody for coming and supporting me.